Hi, my name's Freddy Fazbear, and you think you know the story of Five Nights at Freddy's, but you have no idea. I was raised in a small town, rural Arkansas, so there wasn't much there. My dad, Gil Fazbear, and my mom, Gloria Fazbear, they raised me the best they could. We didn't have much money growing up. We lived on the farm, and so we had to make do with what we had. We were always told to work really hard, and good would come from that. I didn't want to work on the farm, though. I had bigger aspirations for myself. I wanted to be an entertainer, and ever since I was a little animatronic, I wanted to be an entertainer. And my dad, he couldn't come to terms with it. He tried to make me, a strong farmer, and I wasn't happy. And so that's when I told my dad I was going into entertainment, and I wasn't going to be following the family business. And it killed him to hear that. So he kicked me out. And here I was, a young adult animatronic, out in the world on my own. I really didn't have any direction, so, I took what jobs I could find, worked at a grocery, fast food, and then I decided one day, I'm going to go for it, and that's when I made the decision to try for a job at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And, some of the greats that we'd ever heard of were there. Bonnie, Foxy, Chica. These were household names to me. I grew up, watching these animatronics as a kid. So to be lucky enough to even have an interview at this place was huge for me. And after being told that I was perfect for the job, I was on cloud nine. You could not have wiped the smile off my face. Dad. So here I was, doing something I always wanted to do. Entertain kids. Make people laugh. Entertainment, And on the surface, it was great. We loved we had great shows. We had great rapport between us. Me and Chica were, best friends immediately. Foxy was pretty cool, too. Bonnie had a lot of demons, though. Bonnie had a lot of problems. And a lot of what happened was simply because Bonnie couldn't come to terms with what happened in his life. A lot of anger, a lot of anger came out of Bonnie. And so, I started, entertaining. I enjoyed it a lot. We all had a good time. But Bonnie just seemed different after a little while, kind of like she was dead inside. And so one day, we were performing, and the kids were all having a good time, smiles, lots of enjoyment. And Bonnie went off the deep end. Bonnie started screaming, yelling, throwing things, injured a couple of kids in the process. Well, they didn't shut down Freddy Fazbear's Pizza right away. They let it open. They kind of hushed it up, paid off some of the parents. There was nothing wrong with the animatronics. That's in your imagination, right? Until it happened again. I remember we were at a birthday party, and just the anger Bonnie had. I don't know what it was, if, she wanted more, but she took it out on a lot of people, and she took it out on us at first. But, we're animatronics. We don't really have many feelings, at least on the surface. But then she started taking it out on the kids and the parents. And that, more than anything, is what ended Freddy Fazbear's Pizza as we know it. They shut it down. They shut us down. And we were abandoned. Our time in the spotlight had ended. And so we were tucked away, never to be seen again. We were left in an abandoned pizza place. And so time passed, and, we grew very weary, sad, a lot of sadness, a lot of anger, too. A lot of anger. And we didn't know if we were ever going to be, you know, asked to entertain again. And so several years passed, and they hired a security guard. I guess people had heard noises. That was us moving around trying to enjoy what little we had. And they hired a security guard to watch over us and watch over the location. And so, but those security guards didn't know what they were up against, especially with Bonnie. Bonnie was just so angry, and none of them made it 5 days. None of them made it even a full week. So we ran every one of them out. Bonnie led the charge, angry, throwing things, scaring, jump scaring. I mean, it was a nightmare. And I'm not going to say we all didn't do it. We all did. We all got involved at one point. And I wish I hadn't a lot. I ruined a lot of good people, you know, that were just doing their job. But, you know, we did that for a while, and then we found out that Freddy Fazbear's Pizza was going to be demolished. And so we couldn't believe it. We had been in this building. It had been abandoned for a while, but we figured it would be there forever. And that's also when we learned about the opening of Sister Location. And that was really the final straw. That was really a low blow. Because they were opening the new location of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, but, you know, they didn't ask us to come, you know. I mean, we were the original face. They didn't want anything to do with us because of those events in the past. And we were just thrown away like garbage, you know. You know, we all went our ways. We all escaped before they tore the place down, and we lived the best we could. You know, Chica took the rejection really hard. I don't think Chica ever made it. She'd been in and out of the hospital several times for depression. And as far as I know, she's still there. Never could come to grips with being able to live a normal life, you know. Foxy actually did pretty well. Foxy ended up working down at Disney World, Pirates of the Caribbean ride. You know, that hook hand really, you know, had a lot of promise, you know, and it really helped Foxy along. Bonnie, though, Bonnie just, I'm sorry. So after all this happened, Bonnie was really angry with just people in general, and Bonnie turned to a life of crime, you know. Knocking over liquor stores, you know, grocery stores, any place you could find money. And that's when, you know, really got into drugs a lot. And a couple of years ago I found out Bonnie had robbed a bank, and Bonnie was killed. And, you know, that was my friend, you know? And it's hard to talk about when you had such a close relationship with someone like this. I'm sorry. So anyway, I lived the best I could, you know. I did the best I could as an animatronic. I ended up taking a job at a hospital. You know, I entertain kids now still. You know, it's not what I wanted to get into, but you know, I'm making people happy. You know, I come to the cancer wards and I dance around, and you know, the kids like it, and it pays too. You know, I have a nice house that I live in. You know, I even have a small animatronic child on the way. So, you know, I'm not going to say my life was a waste. It was a learning experience working at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and I wouldn't have done anything different. I just wish that some of the people that worked with me, you know, Bonnie, Cheek, I wish they could have found their little piece of paradise, but they just couldn't take life without the fame, you know? And that more than anything is really, it's really hard for me, you know? It's really hard for me to think about. I try not to think about it a lot because, you know, I have a life now. You know, I have a family. I have a job. You know, I'm moving forward. And if I could tell them anything, it would be, you know, keep your chin up. You know, there is life out there after Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. You know, we just it's a lot harder for us because we've tasted the limelight and success, and you don't want to let that go. But you know, that's our story. That's my story, and the one regret that I would really like to have a relationship with my father again. And unfortunately, you know, my mom's still alive, still at the farm, but you know, he died a few years ago, and we never reconciled before he died. And for me, that's really the hardest part. So, yeah, that's what happened. So, try not to make the same mistakes I did.